This podcast is brought to you by AutoVision and its new AI assistant, Avery. Avery delivers data-driven appraisals, pricing, and detailed strategies for every vehicle. Visit autovision.com to learn more about Avery, where precision meets profit.
Hey, it's Jamie here in Detroit on this week's bonus episode of Daily Drive. Automotive News 100 Leading Women Gala and Conference is coming this week. To help tee that up, we'll hear more from Leading Women honorees in a panel conversation held earlier this year. But first, on Thursday's show, we brought you part of our exclusive interview with Nissan America's chairman, Christian Meunier. Our own Urvash Karkaria spoke with him as part of our Talk from the Top series of interviews with North America executives. Here's more from that conversation.
Your decision to come back.
Yeah.
What drove it? What led to it? Do you just love a challenge?
Yeah, I do. I do. In my career, I always like challenge. You see, I had a lot of contact with recruiters and other OEMs and all kinds of startups. And, I looked at many different options, board and stuff like that. But it was either, knowing myself, I know that it was either, retirement or full speed.
Nice.
And I ended up feeling like it was time for me to go, especially with Nissan, because I have my heart is still connected to that company and to that brand. It made me sad to see it, to see the situation in which the brand was and the company was. And I still have a lot of friends and colleagues, and so I have an attachment to it. I love the people at Nissan, and I'm glad I came. It's changed quite a bit. I think, as I told you, I think the fighting spirit has had someone disappeared. I think probably COVID played a big role in this. People were not in the office. And I think the company had lost a little bit that mantra, which is scale. You need scale in the automotive industry. Without scale, your cost goes up. Your suppliers can't really get you the cost you want and you need. And it's very difficult to make money and then reinvest in the new technologies and everything. There are a lot of, obviously, regulation that are costly, and without scale, it's hard. Yeah. And I think Nissan has lost 40% of its volume in the last 5 years, right? But the fixed costs remain pretty much the same. Right. And the variable cost, so the cost to build our car, ultimately is too high. So it's not rocket science. We just need to attack the cost side and get momentum on the sell side. And if we do that, Nissan is going to be doing super well, super quickly. And that's what we're doing.
Yeah. Okay, let's just focus on Canada and US for our leadership.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
How much more cost cutting do you still need to do? And how do you plan to do it?
So this year, and it's no secret, we're going for 20% cost reduction year over year.
Okay.
So I spend 3 or 4 hours a day with the team, with the CFO, and all what we call the shopping basket process. People come with, what they want the money for, and they explain to me, this is the program that we have. We used to do it, or it's a new program, and the reasons why we need it, and what would happen if we were shaving 20, 50, or if we would kill it, right? And we have very good discussion. The good thing is, for me, it's an education, because I know what people do and what people spend the money on. And for them, I think it's an opportunity to get feedback from me. And by doing this, the goal is 20%, but it's not 20% across the board, because some programs are super successful and we need to keep going and even do more. And some, sorry to say, but it's 50% down or it's killed, right? And people don't like, obviously, their project, their pet project to be canceled. But I think what happened in the past is you have all these new projects that were added, and very few occasions do we remove cost, right? And we've reached a point where we have too much stuff. We have too much complexity. Last time I saw you, we talked about simplification with the dealers, the simplification within the company, simplification with the suppliers. How do we make our life simpler?
Right.
It's easier, and you know that probably, it's easier to be adding complexity than removing complexity, and being simpler and focused and prioritize is always a choice. And it requires courage.
You can read more about Nissan America's chairman, Christian Meunier's conversation with our own Urvash Karkaria at autonews.com. Coming up, we'll listen to more from our panel of leading women honorees. That's next on this bonus episode of Daily Drive.
The future of transportation is here, and it's electric, autonomous, and smarter than ever. Join Tech Brew on May 29th for a live event exploring the technologies transforming the way we drive, charge, and power our cities. They've got a lineup of experts from companies like Waabi, Rivian, WeaveGrid, Mercedes-Benz, and more, all sharing insights on the next wave of innovations in EVs, AI, smart grids, and charging infrastructure. They'll dive into the challenges and opportunities of building an efficient, clean, and interconnected transportation system, from vehicle-to-grid technology to the role of AI in improving the grid. And here's the best part. Get 25% off your registration with code AN25 at emergingtechbrew.com/events. Don't miss out. Register today and be part of the conversation shaping the future of transportation.
Welcome back. This week, we'll honor 100 women who are playing critical roles in the next chapter of the auto industry. Ahead of our Leading Women Gala and Conference, we're bringing you more from a panel we held earlier this year featuring several of those honorees. In this excerpt, our own Hannah Lutz speaks with Pam Fletcher, CEO of Scion Power, Judy Wheeler, Divisional Vice President of Nissan Sales for Nissan North America, Teresa Thiel, Stellantis Senior Vice President of Global Purchasing Programs, and Diane Marr, President of Fox Motors.
What are effective ways to recruit people to the industry? How are you building a bench for your team, for succession? What's the strategy?
You know, I have been in and out of the industry 4 times. And I always came back because the scale and scope of what you can affect is like no other. Mm-hmm. And I think once you have that, it really draws you in. And especially earlier in your career where you're trying to get a multitude of experiences. I mean, think about the breadth of different experiences you can get in any one of your companies. It's really unmatched. So, I think that when you have people, either that you're trying to get them to stay, right? They've been interns, they've been on the new college hire program, doing rotations. Make sure that those opportunities are really taken advantage of, that they can see all the cool things that they can be involved in. And when you get people interested from the outside, show them. I mean, I always, when I was at GM, I always took people to the design center. It never failed. You're trying to attract somebody, or even people came from other companies. It's like, okay, let's go tour the design, see what we're thinking about that these days. And, use all the assets you've got at your disposal to show them just, how great of a career you can have in this industry.
A couple of things to build on that, Pam, is networking. Speaking or attending networking events is a great way to recruit people that maybe don't have the auto industry on their radar. Something that we have been doing the last few years at Nissan is a STEAM event, and we're bringing in high school students. And that has been really eye-opening, and not only for us, but especially for them. And then we take them down to the design studio, and we have them look at the cars, and we have different speakers come in from different aspects of the business. And then we're hoping that they will consider us in the future and come back to the auto industry.
Those are really good examples. If I can add to that, I think getting involved in the community, and as leaders, many of us, I'm sure we're all doing that. But for example, I sit on the board for the College of Business at the University of Detroit Mercy, and the students that they bring into our board meetings, typically I'm like writing down their names, looking up on LinkedIn, and people are like, oh, there goes Teresa, she's already snapping that one. But it's like knowing and being present in those moments, you find a lot of talent. I mean, and you're able to also share with them how amazing the automotive industry is. So I always warn people, like, there's formal recruiting and interviewing that people plan for, career fairs, executive recruiters might be helping, whatever it may be, but there's always all that informal recruiting that's happening at any point in time. And I even, try and remind my kids, like, you don't know that person you just met could be a future employer of yours. You don't know, right? Like that those connections really matter. So always just kind of staying alert to something that I feel sparks an interest in something that maybe the team is missing, or a talent that they have that we could benefit from. So informal and formal recruiting both, I think, really matter.
Diane, what about from the dealership point of view? How are you able to recruit a diverse set of employees?
Well, we've had, this has been a huge topic of conversation lately because we feel like we really haven't been doing a good job at it. And so we just recently, I was given an award at Northwood not too long ago. And during that time, I had students who took me around, showed me the campus, talked to me. Everybody wanted to talk to me. And then during the presentation, the audience was probably 80% kids and students, and the rest were adults. And I quickly realized that this was more about the kids than it was about me, and trying to inspire young people to, choose a career that's good for them. So I ended up being more inspired with them than they were with me, certainly, because I just couldn't believe the level of talent that these kids had and how good that they were at talking to me and asking me very relevant questions, and how excited they were about the automotive business or the automotive industry in general. So we're putting together a formal plan with them now. But one thing I determined is retail automotive is a little bit different animal. And so it's helpful to have people going to college for that purpose, because they're interested in it, because they know, they have a family member that's in the business or whatever. So that's one thing that we're doing. I just think cars are really exciting. I mean, everybody who hasn't been to a cocktail party, everybody wants to talk to me about cars. And it's so exciting, and it's fun to talk about them. And in my position, we have a number of different brands, and so I have relationships with all kinds of high up OEM partners, and that's exciting. And the people at Cox Automotive, all the way up to the top, I know all of those people that are developing software for our business, which is really exciting. So there's just so many avenues that you don't really expect when you go into the business that just create such an excitement around it. It really is a fun business to be in. And you just have to, I guess, be loud and clear about it when you're talking to people. And if you're excited, they'll be excited, I feel like.
That was Fox Motors President Diane Maher, Stellantis Senior Vice President of Global Purchasing Programs Teresa Thiel, Judy Wheeler, Divisional Vice President of Nissan Sales for Nissan North America, and Scion Power CEO Pam Fletcher. You can see their full conversation with our own Hannah Lutz and other panelists at autonews.com. And you still have time to purchase tickets for the Automotive News 100 Leading Women Gala and Conference this week. Go to autonews.com/events. Thanks for listening to this bonus episode of Daily Drive. We'll be back on Monday with a brand new full episode of the show.